We can change the questions. You want to turn your phone off?
What questions?
Okay.
Phone's on vibrate.
Phone's on vibrate. All right. I'm actually going to turn my phone on airplane mode because it's actually better for the Wi-Fi.
Oh, well, then I'll do that too.
Thanks.
Should I read this out?
Yeah, leave it out. Hello, everyone. This is Fernando with Zen's Tea House, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A specifically regarding mental health. You would not believe how many people ask us at Zen's Tea House if we have any tea for depression, for anxiety. And I would love to say yes, but the truth is mental health goes a lot deeper and it's a little more confusing than just teas and herbs. You just don't just take a tea, right, Lex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, teas can be used. Natural remedies can be used for all kinds of different things, including mental health. But that's definitely not the only thing that should be used or could be used.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have any questions, you can call us in, but really we've noticed in the past that when you're asking questions about mental health and psychological health, it's probably easier just to email us info@zenstea.com, because we've had people just send us posts on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and it's kind of a little bit embarrassing. This is a platform, Zen's Tea House. Our mission statement is helping people through the power of tea. We're not here to make any medical claims or from manic depression. And I think to myself, well, have you been diagnosed, or is this a self-diagnosis? A lot of people in America a lot of people in general are self-diagnosing themselves. I don't know why. There's tons of studies that show that it's a bad idea, but nonetheless, if you can Google your symptoms, oh my gosh, I have X amount of arachnophobia, I don't know what, I'm not going to go there. But people say, hey, I'm bipolar, or I suffer from insomnia. I have depression. I have PTSD. Get that a lot. And I'm not here to say, no, you don't, but I am here to ask you I'm here to ask the question, do you think that taking a tea is the solution for a mental or emotional or psychological challenge? Depression. A lot of people suffer from depression around the holidays. A lot of people go to bars, and a lot of people start drinking. A lot of people are using drugs, popping pills, because they are suffering from depression. But rather, I think they're suffering from the symptoms, that are similar to depression, but being clinically diagnosed from depression is very different. And so we're here to shed the light. To answer the question, do we have a tea for depression? That's not how depression. If anyone says they have a tea for depression, then they're not treating depression. Isn't that right, Lex?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more. Oops, got it.
Hi, Don. Hi, Patricia.
It's definitely more just treating some of the things. It's not. I mean, like we've talked about before, we are holistic beings, right? We're holistic creatures. It's all the 6 aspects of health that we mentioned before. As a reminder to our audience, that's physical, mental, emotional, social, environmental, and spiritual. And so in order to fully treat something like depression or really anything, I mean, you want to look at all the aspects of health and not just one. And so you can take, teas or herbs or, different natural remedies, but that's only going to treat part of the issue, part of the problem. And, we'll be talking about some of the other things that really are needed and are useful for treating the problem in its entirety.
Right. And so when you're looking at treating the illness, we have to understand, what is the illness? What is mental health? We brought in a few people. I meet with a number of people who are mental health professionals, people who are licensed therapists, psychologists, people who are licensed to prescribe psychiatric treatment. And it's very frustrating for doctors, either mental health doctors, you know, PsyDs or MDs or NDs, even. It's very difficult for them to approach the patients when they've already been convinced that they suffer from a mental health disorder. Can you imagine you are now being presented with all this evidence, you're looking online and you're saying, oh my gosh, I have heart issues. Oh, I have a rush of tension. I think I might have anxiety. And you go to a doctor and they say, oh, look, I have anxiety. Look, I'm stuttering. It's too much for me. Prescribe me something to help me feel better. There are a lot of medical physicians who are in the field, who are trained in psychological health, and who are also medical doctors. But if you're interested in pursuing a tea or an herb or some sort of natural supplement to help with the ailments of psychological or mental health, it could be that you're having a bad day. You might be having a bad week. You might be having some really hard times. And adding something new to your diet may not be the best solution. Here at Zen's Tea House, our mission statement is helping people through the power of tea. I'm joined with Miss Beautiful Alexis Lopez. She's my wife. She's also has her teaching credential in health education. She is a teacher in the Los Angeles School District and also in Orange County, teaching people as a professional about health. And there's mental health, there's emotional health, there's psychological, there's spiritual, environmental. And the mental health is really disturbing because there's a lot of people today that are prescribing, self-diagnosing themselves as having mental disorders. Now, Alexis, you were talking about, I know you have your book right there, about the amount of people who are suffering from mental health issues or psychological health. You know, the median age is 30 years old.
Yeah, so I was just reading, and this is in, knowing that we were going to be coming and doing this talk on mental health. I went back in and pulled out some old textbooks from my degree in health education. And so I pulled out this book. It's called Access to Health by Donatel. And this is it was published in 2012. So they actually have a statistic in here saying that 30 years old is the median age of onset for mood disorders, which is really interesting. And let's see. I should have sticky noted these. Let's see.
So mood disorders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's all types. So there's mood disorders, which includes major depression, bipolar disorder, seasonal affective disorder, dysthymic disorder, and that's a less severe syndrome of chronic or mild depression. So similar to depression, but less severe, less extreme. And so here it is. So it's really interesting. It says here that major depression is the most common of the mood disorders, affecting approximately 14.8 million American adults. That's about 7% of the U.S. population when this was printed in 2012. So might be a little bit different, might not be too off from what it is right now. And I know that mental health the idea of mental health or talking about mental health has become a lot more common. I feel like people are really trying to get the stigma away from that and trying to put focus on mental health.
There you go.
Trying to put focus on mental health because, I mean, even like we were talking about, helping people through the power of tea. We're helping people. And in helping the person, it's not just treating an illness or, just giving something to mask whatever's going on.
Right. So one of the challenges that we have is to be able to educate people about all aspects of health. Mental health is one of those things that's really touchy subject. You can Google mental health and you'll find a number of resources. They're almost always targeted towards veterans and people in the military, because I think that's kind of like the scapegoat, or that's really an easy way to say, you know what, these people, they need help. They need mental help. Mm-hmm. But the reality is there's a lot of people who are in, first responders, police officers, firefighters, even border patrol. Those people who work in the emergency room at a hospital with a lot of action. I know there's a lot of, here in America, or here in Los Angeles, we have a lot of hospitals per capita. I mean, there's just so many of them. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy meeting with medical physicians, and you would be shocked just how well they deal with death. And I just imagine, these are medical professionals, and they're taught to be, to deal with people who are dying, people who are hurting, people who are in life or death circumstances. And you're there to provide support for them. And that takes a toll on a person's psyche. Mm-hmm. Maybe physically they're okay, but the emotional tension and the stress, I mean, how many of us have been in some really tough situations and we just thought, hey, this is way too much? I know because of my military experience, I was able to work alongside some really tough men and women, and we'd walk away from, a situation that could have been really bad. Nothing went wrong, but it could have been really bad. Although we were all physically healthy, maybe some of us came away with some scratches and bruises, but mentally we were just way out in left field. We had come back home and we were just emotionally and mentally detached. And when you're looking at mental health, you have to look at what's going on emotionally. If you are looking